Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Stamping A to Z, my regular Wednesday noon live. Today is episode 55. We're doing part 2 of the fast and easy coloring we started last week. I have a few more techniques to show you on quick and easy ways to get your coloring done for stamps that need coloring. I mean, they don't need coloring, but if you want them colored, I'm going to give you some quick and easy ways to do that. There's lots of exciting stuff going on today. The clearance rack was, refilled, restocked last night. So there's lots of really good deals on the clearance rack. You can find that on my store at lindagibbs.stampinup.net. It will show on my screen when I turn you around. The other thing that's happening is our last chance, I don't know if it's a sale necessarily, but it's the last month of our winter mini that's here. And so the stuff that's retiring, a lot of it is discounted up to 50% off. So I will show you a little bit of that, what deals are on to be had there. It is while supplies last only, so if there's something you really want, make sure you put your order in sooner than later. I think that's all. What do you think? I got new glasses. Hopefully you guys like them. I guess it doesn't matter as long as I like them, but it's a change for sure. So yeah, let me turn you around and we'll get started here. I always get my fingers in the view, so try not to do that. Oh, I wonder if it's kind of a dreary day, so I've got my light on even. I don't usually have my light on in the daytime, but I just realized I forgot to make sure my volume was excuse me, on. Let me get this on my iPad here and make sure my comments are turned on this time. Oh, hi, Linda. Okay, so if you're ordering anything, here's the host code. Let me quickly, I don't have a list of the clearance rack item, but if you go onto my store and you go into, I believe it's even just called clearance rack, and you just go in there and it'll show you all the stuff that's on there. That is like the best deals you can possibly get. Here is our lovely list of all the stuff that's retiring out of this catalog. So as, I don't know, you probably can't see this because it's really little. I will post this on my page, and it does tell you which ones are discounted, but anything that's listed on here is retiring. So if there's something that you really like, get it now. Couple of the really good deals. A lot of the French stuff is usually on sale just because I think it doesn't sell as much. But there are a bunch of dies that are 50% off, like the stocking dies. That's page 31. So these ones are 50% off. Really good deal. There's lots of 25% off, like the polar bear. Where did I find it? And then there's beautiful leaves dies. That's another really nice. These ones, the dies, they're 50% off. Why is it untitled? So then, oops, that's why I'm like, where is this? So these dies are 50% off. Christmas cheer dies. These ones are 50% off. Clush dies. These ones are 50% off. The knit sweater dies, that's one I've shown. This one, 50% off. Delicate, ooh, I didn't notice that one. The delicate baubles, these ones are 50% off. I think those might be going on my list because I don't think you even really need the stamp set for this one. Page 40. Oh, don't mind the doggos. So, I mean, the stamp set is nice, but even if you wanted the stamp set, you could do it separately. But at 50% off, those, that's a really good deal. Border punch, Christmas cheer. Yeah, there's a whole bunch. So make sure if there's anything still on your list in here. Is this a different sale? Different sale than... So there was the dies and stamp, or not, dies, ink, and paper sale. That ended last week. Then up until yesterday, there was a promotion to join. And today, this is the last chance products. So this catalog ends at the end of December. And so since a bunch of it's retiring, they put a lot of it at discounted prices. So they're only while supplies last. So yes, it is a different sale. It just started today. Because we, as demonstrators, so whoever's a demonstrator, can order, oh my God, the dogs, can order from the new, I'm only allowed to show you guys the covers, the new mini catalog for January to June, and there will be celebrations starting in January as well. So as demonstrators, we are allowed to order starting today, and then customers will be able to order starting January. So yeah, I just wanted to let you know about this. And then the clearance rack. The clearance rack always has stuff, but they just restocked it last night. So there's a whole bunch of new stuff on there. And that stuff definitely doesn't last long. It goes really fast because it's quite discounted. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, on to the fun stuff, the coloring. So now I can't even remember what we did last week. I should have reviewed it. I don't even have my projects out anymore. But anyways, we're moving on to 4 new projects, or 4 new techniques for coloring. So this one I'm just taking Memento, and I'm just gonna ink up my stamp here. And this is the craft paper, which is in our current mini, which is going away. The paper is not retiring, but it won't be available until next year's winter mini. So if you like the craft paper, get your hands on it now. It'll only be available till the end of December, or I'm not sure if that, I have to check on the while supplies last, but there should be enough paper, you would think. Oh, I should have sharpened this. I couldn't find, I have an old Stampin' Up! Sharpener, and it's the best sharpener on earth. It has a couple different sizes for the crayons and stuff, and I love it, but I couldn't find it. I'm gonna have to clean up my room, obviously. So here we just have it stamped, and I'm just gonna take my white watercolor pencil, and I'm just gonna shade it in here, or color it, or whatever you want to call it. And oh, I haven't fixed my rocking stand. I really have to set that up differently. Someone let me know if it makes you seasick. If it doesn't affect, like it just looks like it's rocking to me, then I don't have to worry about it. But if it's rocking for everybody, that's not so good. So I'm just going to leave it like this, and this one has a cutout that goes with it. So I would simply cut it out with my die, and then I just cut out a few more of the cutouts from here on some basic black. This is the designer series paper that is in the same suite as all of this. So this is one of the new sets that's in the new catalog. It's the Blessings of Home. So this is I showed the designer series paper last week. One thing I did realize is this label, which some of you might have, it is out of the Pierced Blooms dies. It works perfectly with a couple of the sentiments in this set. So keep that in mind, that they work really well together as a label if you have that set already. And then these are the classic matte dots, which are also part of that suite. But super fast, easy, but it looks like you've done some coloring. You don't even have to, so these are watercolor pencils, so you could watercolor it, but this is just to give it that whitewashed effect. Next, this is more of a traditional coloring, but you'll see how fast and easy it is. I'm gonna use, where did I put it? I'm gonna use Smoky Slate, and I just need a piece of paper to stamp off on. My Smoky Slate is freshly inked, so it's super juicy. I don't know if you can tell. It's very shiny, so I don't want it super dark on my paper, so I'm just gonna stamp it off quickly on there, and then I'm gonna stamp it onto here. Make sure I get good coverage, and there. So it's still dark, but it's not as wet and juicy as if I hadn't stamped it off. There are other ways to get that same effect. You can actually take your stamp pad if it's super juicy, and you can take a spoon and rub the ink away so that there's less ink in the middle. So when you ink up your stamp, it's less juicy, but I like my ink pad to stay nice and even, so I prefer to stamp it off. Okay, so now that you've got your stamped image, keep in mind I did use just our regular ink, and I am going to watercolor. So this is the shimmery paper, which is a bit more forgiving with water, but it will bleed a little bit, because unless you use the Stays On, you're going to get some bleeding. I'm okay with that. If you're not okay with that, make sure you use Stays On instead. So then I've got a few more watercolor pencils. I find these are some of the fastest way to get coloring done, because you don't have to be precise. You don't have to color within the lines. You just have to put some down. And then kind of going for a nice soft look anyways, so I don't need to put a whole lot on. Okay, it looks like it's shaking to me in my, so it must be shaking. But you can see, super fast to color in. And you could use all one color if you wanted to go even faster. You could. You really don't need a whole heck of a lot to go on here. And it looks, well, I don't even think it looks that bad right now. It is super messy, but I'm okay with that. If you are not one that likes super messy, that's okay too, because once you take your water painter, it will no longer look messy. So just depending on the look you want, can be faster or a little bit slower, but as you can see, I'm doing the whole thing on purpose, not to bore you, but just so you can see how fast it actually is to use these pencils. So if you want a full colored picture, but you don't want to, oops, I forgot that flower. You don't want to spend the whole time coloring. So this looks pretty good to me. Oops, I forgot another leaf. You could leave it like this, or you could get your water painter out. I have the, I believe this is the smallest of the bunch. And then just take your painter and spread out your color. And again, it does not have to be super precise. You're just kind of moving the color around. And you just want to make sure you wipe your brush in between colors. It's probably better to start with your yellow. And I'm just going to take some of the yellow off because I don't want them super yellow. Just a nice soft. But you can see the gray, I don't know if you can see it, the gray is bleeding a little bit, especially in the areas where I rub it more, but it's really not significant. It doesn't make it so that it's a gray, ugly blob or anything. And you can do the leaves. Oh, hi Marcy, glad you made it. So my original pre-order that we got from Onstage finally arrived. Made it through the BC roads. So you are going to get a few more sneak peeks today with some embellishments. I haven't gotten a lot of time to play with it. It just arrived. But I'm very excited to put my next order in with all the items that I really love. Because at the original order, you're only allowed specific items that they release early. Okay, so oops, I forgot the blue. There we go. But it's all colored. It was pretty darn fast to do, and you're done. And it looks like you even have some shading in there, which is always pretty nice. So, you know, just plain colored. I just stamped thanks, and that's from the Biggest Wish. And then these are brass butterflies. These are out of the new catalog. They're actually metal, like they've got some good weight to them, but they're so cute. So that's another quick and easy, simple coloring. The next one, I'm going to use a different stamp. I wouldn't want to bore you guys with the same stamp over and over. This one I'm going to be using blends, but you're going to see that it's a really cheater way of using blends. So I'm just gonna, I pre-stamped it onto the page so I knew where it was stamping, so I can line up my paper where I want it. Just put this on the very edge, make sure I can still stamp. And then once again, I'm going to use Memento since that's the one that works with our blends. I find that rotating it while stamping down helps get the ink, because it is a very hard ink pad. It's not like our colored ones that are a nice soft sponge. So I just find it helps to give it a little twist. And then luckily we are using the Stamparatus, so if you miss a spot, you can always stamp it again. That's where these big background stamps, it's nice to have the Stamparatus. So if you're wondering where this stamp is from, it is from our annual catalog. It is in there as a background stamp. A really good stamp for anything really. You can do so many different techniques with it. But anyways, so I've got my, now obviously I'm not going to color this whole thing. That would take me forever. So if I weren't cheating, I would take these circle dies and cut one out. I'm going to cheat and use my punches just for easiness sake. And I'm gonna just punch it here. You can punch it anywhere, but I like to have one main flower. And then I'm gonna set this aside, and I'm only gonna color this one flower, which makes my life a whole lot easier. So I'm starting with the light Highland Heather. Sometimes I put the dark line first. It really doesn't, there's no right or wrong, because you're just going over and blending. If you want to blend, you can do it all one color. There's no rules to this. It's whatever your preference is for the look of your flower. But I would do even half, like this is a fairly big flower, so it's taking me longer. If you really want it to blend well, I would do half the flower and add your darker, just because if it's wet, it blends much better. Otherwise you have to go over it again, which again is not the end of the world. It just depends, I guess, on how much time you have to spend coloring. But with it being such a small area, so if you like to color but you don't love it, or you like to color and you just don't have the time to color the whole thing, this is a great way to get that color added. So wherever I've got stamped image on this little piece of circle, I'm coloring. And the other piece I am leaving alone. So again, you could go in and kind of, oopsie, I just went in the circle. Now I'm getting a little crazy here. I'll just give it a little bit of definition. And then if it's too liney like that, because obviously it's been a while since I colored, you can go back in and swirl it up. Oops, I forgot to keep my yellow out here. And then I have Old Olive. These are great colors together. Old Olive is a staple. I just realized, I think in my sample I forgot to color this. I'll put it green. I don't think I colored this part in the sample I made. And then if you want to get a little fancier, you can add your bit of dark. It just gives it that added dimension. Okay, and then you say, now what? Now, so what I did was I punched out, well, I used my punch, but again, if you're using the, where did I put them? The circle dies, you would use one of the scalloped dies. So it would give you that same kind of look. I just put black cardstock behind, lined it up, and popped it up on dimensionals. And then you've got that colored portion, but you didn't have to color the whole card. So that's another easy technique to get some quick coloring done. Oh, I should have mentioned. So I also, this one's using those Stitched with Whimsy dies, and I just cut it out. It doesn't cut it out, it just gives you that background frame. Okay, so that's the third one. This next one is, I like it a lot. It's fun, it's fast, it's easy. You can do as many or as little colors as you want. It's just fun to do. Oh, I forgot. I was going to emboss this ahead of time. Sorry, you're going to have to listen to my nice heat gun. And just, so that's just Versamark, and I'm going to put some white embossing powder on here. Okay. I don't know if you can see that, but it looks, I find it looks so pretty with just the dry embossing powder. I wish I could figure out a way to get that look without having it in the shiny look. Can you see that? Anyways, I'm gonna heat it up so I can melt. So that was the white embossing powder, not clear. I'm just gonna get it all melted here. Hopefully I don't know how loud this comes across. Okay, it's not too loud. You can see it changing into the shiny. The heat and stick powder. Like some kind of matte. It's a good idea to try that. I don't know if I have any fuzzy flocking. I'm sure I could find something. Okay, just make sure it's all set there. It's all shiny. Just let it cool for a second so I don't smudge it. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to take some colors. Of course, you can use any colors you want. It's just I've already used these colors. So my blending brushes are already dirty, so these are the ones I'm going to go with. Flirty Flamingo, Mango Melody, and Daffodil Delight. And I'll do it the same as I mean, you want to talk quick and easy coloring. Can't get any better. So I don't know if you guys can see this. I've got hard chunky stuff growing, and I re-inked it, and now it's like gumming up and stuff. So I have emailed Stampin' Up, and usually, so they had a known issue with Blackberry Bliss and Rich Razzleberry long ago when these first came out, and they had replaced them, but I hadn't heard that Mango Melody did it. But you can see it even kind of gets gummy on my brush. So hopefully, if anyone else has that problem, let me know. And I'll keep you posted if there's an actual issue with this. And then this is Daffodil Delight. So you could use as many colors, like if you wanted more colors, or if you wanted all one color. But this is a great way to get it looking like it's colored. Without spending time coloring. And you can just keep going over till you're happy with the distribution of the colors. And then I always take a Kleenex or paper towel or something, and then just go over top where it's embossed and rub it, because the ink just comes right off of the white emboss powder and it just pops that much more. So now you have this colored flower in seconds. So then this is the same thing, only reversed. And then again, I told you that the sentiments fit in that one label from the Pierced Blooms dies. So I used that with gold embossing powder, and this ribbon is new, but I did, I adjusted it, and I'll show you in a second. And then these embellishments also are new. They are called Iridescent Rhinestones Basic Jewels, but aren't they pretty? They've got like a pinky yellow, they work perfectly with these colors. Now the other thing I did on here was I took some alcohol, and I took the shimmery paint, and I added it in here, and then I just sprayed it and then let it dry, and those bubbles just kind of give it a nice background. It just looks cool. So that's how that was done. And then so here's the ribbon. So as you can see, I cut the ribbon in half. I want to show you. This ribbon is so easy to make it any size you want, because, so if you cut it, you can take a pick tool or whatever you have, and you can pull the edges. So then it has frayed edge on both sides. So it looks like it was always that. So just keep pulling till you have like a full line across, and then if it's uneven, you can just trim it. But for the most part, it looks like it belongs. So I just frayed the other side so that it looked like it matched. You like this kind of coloring, Hema? It is, it's effective, it's quick, and it's easy, and it really has, like, especially if you go even darker, it really pops. So yeah, don't forget that you don't always have to just color it with markers or, you know, coloring it full in, because there's so many other ways you can do it. So those are my 4 techniques for today. Again, don't forget to go and look. I will post the last chance items so you can take a look at those. But if you go on to my store, they are posted on there. So if you go on and then you go last chance items, it'll actually show you everything that's on sale. You need to, yeah, you need to have the embossing stuff to do it. But actually, you don't need the embossing stuff to do it, because if you watched, I can't remember what the title of it was or the episode, but it was a coloring one with pastels. If you have Versamark and pastels, you can do the exact same thing and get the exact same, well, not the exact same look. You'll get, instead of white here, you'll get a dark version of each of the colors, and then you'll get the color on there. So that's another way you can do the resist technique as well without embossing powder. So you wouldn't need a heat tool and you wouldn't need embossing powder. So where there's a will, there's a way. There's so many ways you can do this. Oh, totally. Anybody could do this. It's so super easy. So yeah, have fun with it. Don't, I'll keep reminding you when this stuff comes out, because, oh, I love this ribbon. Anyways, yeah, so take a look at the last chance item sale stuff, the clearance rack, and enjoy the rest of your week. I look forward to seeing you guys next week. Hopefully you guys are all having good weather. We're, I wish we had snow. It keeps melting and going away, and it's supposed to snow this week. So we'll see. I'll believe it when I see it. Anyways, have a good week, you guys. Bye.